Fan Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 9th and 10th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish. They're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam! Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to That Silverline Show on Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim TK, joined, as always, by Jose Fuentes.
Hello.
And by David Rios.
How's it going?
And we are here to talk about costume or comic book costume design changes. So talking about the change of overall visuals in comic characters, why that happens, the impact that it has or doesn't have, and some of our examples of ones that we think work well, ones that we think are not well done,
less well,
and anti-well. And some other things like that. Let me check some real quick here, because I think I just got an Amazon delivery that I was supposed to get 12 hours ago.
Dang
it,
I knew I sent it to your house on accident.
Always perfect sense of timing, right?
Yeah. Never mind, it's just my Amazon Echo beeping for no reason. Okay, very good. Love that. Anyway, so
wait, you have Skynet in your house telling you when deliveries happen?
Yes.
Tim is going to be the first to fall when the robots take over.
I also have, I have someone at the door, actually. Jose, please vamp. Never mind, it's a DoorDash delivery. Okay, someone else got it.
Nice.
All right. Anyway. Yes, I have an Echo and I have a Google Nest set up, but not tied to anything crucial because just having experience in net security, having attack vectors that involve the locks to my house and garage seems a little wacky to me, but I'll give it like my bedroom lights and all that.
Like, Echo, you may set the mood.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I have a very cyberpunk light set up, so everything feels very on brand when I'm playing cyberpunk. All right. Talking about comic book character costume changes or design changes. Usually happen around the same time, but not always, because every artist has their own style, and sometimes they like keeping the old costume but change up the visual appeal of the comic, or an editor wants to set a tone for a new run. Things like that might happen. Yeah, lights on are fine, not my fridge or my locks, exactly. Although I don't mind having a fridge that just like resupply produce for me, so I don't have to do it myself.
Right?
Yeah.
Where's that Star Trek replicator at?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we did. Was it we 3D print? We were not able to 3D print digestible protein, so maybe about 10 years off.
That's disturbing for me.
I mean, that's what a replicator is. It's just a free 3D printer. It's just weird thinking about tea being 3D printed. Earl Grey hot.
Earl Grey hot.
All right, Picard.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'll open up the floor to you guys first. What are some of your immediate thoughts when it comes to design or costume changes on characters or visual updates to runs? Anything times where you thought that really was done really well, or anything you thought was kind of ridiculous, or just questionable?
Red and blue Superman. That was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was gonna say most of the '90s designs that came out.
Yeah.
Like we've discussed before, the big pockets and all that.
There are some of them that I absolutely love, but there are other ones where I'm like, this is certainly a choice.
Oh, come on, you love the Ben Reilly in the
the ripped off hoodie.
Yeah. Actually, it's grown on me. It has grown on me since, but it's one of those things where, like, in the moment it was something, but afterwards I'm like, you know what? I kind of get it.
I liked. So was it early late 80s, early 90s? Was it Justice League of America? I believe they had an issue. And it was a way older issue, but they had Vibe, right? Vibe was in Justice League, and they came to pick him up for a mission. He's like, yes, I can try out my new costume, and he actually they had a good 7 pages about him going to get onto his new costume, like these big fins sticking out of his for his shirts, like all green and yellow and whatnot. It was so nasty, but it was one of my favorite issues just because of that. Yes. Oh, disturbing. Oh, what were they thinking?
I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of like it for an issue, and then after you're like, let's just go back. Right. Been here too long.
I mean, I think changes. I mean, when it comes to different characters, during I want to say, I don't think it was it was Shadow King storyline. And I think that was the late 90s. The X-Men had their yellow and blue costumes, but they actually had the strap collars. You know what I mean? Yeah. I thought that was really cool. Stuff like that, the little nuance changes that they make. But I don't understand some of the other ones that they've done. When who was it? Grant Morrison, who did the art for the X-Men when Grant Morrison was writing it. That's pretty much when I stopped reading X-Men.
When it was the new X-Men?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think was it Frank Quietly? I'm not sure if it was Frank Quietly. Was it?
Yeah.
Some of those costume designs, I know they were a little more uniform, but it was not appealing to me.
See, that was, well, not all of them. I like some of them, but there are certainly some things where like, this is a little weird.
Right.
One of the ones actually. Yeah. Like, during this, yeah,
They look like puffy shirts.
yeah, during this era, I really dug Wolverine and oh,
You having brain freeze?
I feel like that's like an episode. That's about to become an episode of American Dad.
I'm trying to remember the name of the. Is her name Violence or Danger?
Who?
The
robot?
Yes.
They're like all blue and whatnot with like the.
Yeah.
That's Danger.
Danger. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Around this era, Danger is also quite fun, but Cyclops looked like his neck was weird. I didn't like it. I also Beast had no neck. Beast.
They went from having Beast be blue skin, fangs, and crap like that to making him actually look like a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I thought that personally that was a bad move. I didn't like it. I was like, nope, no thanks.
No. It's a little weird. The current iteration of Beast I like a whole lot. But
the bad guy Beast?
Yeah, he looks very good though.
I thought, okay, so there was anybody that has read X-Men and whatnot, there was Age of Apocalypse, and Age of Apocalypse brought Dark Beast into the regular reality. Freaking bad guy Beast is wholly more sadistic and whatnot than freaking Dark Beast.
Yeah.
He's also gray.
Is he back to being gray? I think you might be right.
The Dark Beast.
Yeah.
The Age of
And
Apocalypse.
I thought it was cool because he had those spikes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I actually liked in regards to like costume changes, like jumping to Age of Apocalypse. You know what I mean? Obviously, costumes are going to be different, but I actually like the costumes from Age of Apocalypse. But that was like right at the heart of when I started reading, like when I was deep into comics and whatnot.
Weren't those the Jeff Matsuda books?
Didn't he? Yes, I believe so. For the Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
I mean, not just him, but I think I want to say either Chris Pacello or Alberto Ramos did the Generation Next.
Yes, I did. I colored the. Well, sorry. Yeah, he did. I believe he did those. Bacalo was doing Generation Next at the time.
Yes. Okay.
Ramos was doing the X-Men 2099 stuff.
Okay.
And I colored some of the pages from that. I colored the first page of the first issue. And then also I did one of the Dark Beast from the Age of Apocalypse and Sugarman.
Oh yeah.
I remember you mentioned before that you like Sugarman.
I do like Sugarman.
Yes. Well, the book I shared in our group chat week before last, I just picked up the introduction of Nathaniel Gray as X-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which has a big Sugarman arc, and I'm loving it.
I thought Nathan Gray was friggin' such a great character.
Mm-hmm.
And then, much like for me anyway, they kind of I don't know. They kind of made him, obsolete, I guess. I don't know. Because they stopped putting him in stuff to me.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with him. His comeback when they made him I don't know how to explain it. Unsuspecting villain where he accidentally ends up becoming a villain. That
Strife? Are you talking about Strife?
No. This Age of X-Man, where he accidentally imprisons the entire world inside of his planescape, trying to create a world where mutants are accepted, but doesn't realize that he has become Apocalypse in doing so.
Right. Well, he went through changes too, because he went from having like that jacket and whatnot to like having a different jacket but no shirt, and like that tattoo of like the X sparkle thing on his chest.
Yeah, like there you go. If you yes.
Yep, that one. That reminds, like, the change they did for him, it was reminiscent to the change they did for Namor. I know Namor didn't have a shirt on, or, you know what I mean, just had the
Right.
green undies, but then they went to like a hardcore Namor where like he kind of had those like shoulder like pauldron things on with the
Mhm.
black leather pants. Like, I don't know why he had black leather pants in the water,
Right.
but that's reminiscent of that to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like I feel like this is on the good end of the extreme era redesigns. Because at the same time, you had things like Adam X come out, where I absolutely love Adam X, but
No.
Perfect. We do have the perfect evolution of beard growth on stage, yes. And he does kind of look like that, although I feel like, well, depending on the writer, Nathan Gray either goes from being not toxic at all to being the most toxic. That's
Yeah.
very subjective on the writer. Yeah.
But yeah, and let's see. For more X-Men, there's Warren Worthington. He went like the biggest,
yeah.
like super huge extreme change in regards to like, so not just like his costume and whatnot, but he like had a full facelift makeover when he went from being Angel and during the Mute Massacre, and
Yep.
he came back as Archangel, which I thought was the coolest storyline.
Oh yeah, I loved his turning into Archangel, and then I also loved the Magneto and the X-Men run, where they deal a lot with there being essentially two Warren Worthingtons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird that they like ended up changing to where he can change back and forth.
Yeah. It was interesting, but I it's weird when they give him full control of it. I liked it being tied to the coming and goings of Apocalypse. I think that makes
Yes,
sense.
because he had the Apocalypse seat.
Yeah.
Well, he was War, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Death.
Death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the new Professor X with the permanent cerebro.
With a dome on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have
yes.
something similar to that with Cyclops right now, right? Kind of similar to that.
How do you mean?
The current stuff with the vilified Cyclops that they're doing in more of the recent X-Men stuff. He has the big helmet with the X.
Yeah, that was more so following. Well, it was
That
a
was
little
before Messiah Complex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it happened a little bit also after Utopia. But it happened leading into Utopia and after Utopia, and then after Schism as well. Schism Cyclops also, I thought, was a very cool take on
wasn't Schism Cyclops the one that killed people?
Yes.
Like, that was the no F's given Cyclops.
Yes, that was the that was the Cyclops who is after Xavier had died that time, which I think that was 3.
Right.
That was when he said, Xavier's dream is dead. Big Dude was right. We're killing all the humans. And Wolverine's like, okay, bub, hold on.
Right? From the guy who freaking says, hey, I have no problem stabbing people with my claws.
Yes.
You are taking it too far, sir.
Yeah, my favorite thing is that Cyclops has gone from Boy Scout to being hardline, and both times it's been even more hardline character that had to tell him to pump the brakes. First, it was Emma Frost being like, look, I should have murdered people in the Hellfire Club, and even I have questions about this.
here you go.
Let's see. I have more, I swear.
Oh, cool. The custom I'm talking about is actually, according to some random poll on the internet, is in Cyclops' top 5 designs. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I guess I share an opinion here.
Right. I know Jean Grey's gone through different costume designs, especially like when she went from like Jean Grey to like yeah. See, now that one's not too bad.
No, that one's good. I like that one.
Right? I don't like the one with the puffy jackets, the parka jackets.
It's a little weird, yeah. Yeah, Rogue's had some. I liked Hoodie Rogue when she's with the Avengers. That's one of my favorites.
Rogue went from, let's see, she had like short, weird hair. She in a green suit. I think she technically had a hood then, or at least the line work design on the back that looked like it.
An implied hoodie.
Yeah, and then on to like, you know, from there to like X-Men, like different stuff, and then was it Savage Land Rogue, which evidently everybody loves that one. I asked for that one at conventions. Like, oh, can you draw Savage Land Rogue? Like, dude, does your mother approve this?
Mm-hmm. Well, because it's, you know, torn clothes and all this stuff. So.
Right?
Yeah. Well, we just appreciate all sorts of torn clothes here, as I'm about to share another one.
Are you going to bring out pictures of the Hulk or something?
No. But Jim Bro Magneto.
I don't understand. Okay, so Magneto was like back in the day, like the red and purple and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna atone for my crimes, so let me wear the purple and white with a big honking M across his chest and no sleeves."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Okay, I get that, but like, I mean, this brother's like supposed to be like what 60, 70 years old."
Well, at this point,
those are your life goals, Tim.
Exactly. Well, at this point, I think he's closing in on 100, but they're saying, like mutants just have an extra long lifespan because we can't get rid of Magneto because we just can't.
Because look at his guns! Holy cow!
Yeah. So if I want to look that good at 98,
I know, right? Like, jeez.
Yeah.
Like, yes, please. Just make that happen. I'll be a mutant. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
I actually liked the cloak design they had for Age of Apocalypse because they had those like globes on it, which I thought was, I don't know, I just thought it was really cool. And it was like, even though almost every character had a different costume, it was still following within like the same, like a few same premises of the same, like Morph had it and Rogue had it when they had those like orbs on their chest. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
That was the Joe Magira stuff, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Did some awesome work. I love his stuff. I'm excited to see the Battle Chaser stuff.
For the new Battle Chaser stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that David brought up Hulk earlier because now we can kind of get on topic here.
Oh man.
One of the earliest and most prominent glow ups was Hulk getting a colorist. We can kind of parlay this now into the craft side discussion before we just go on and on again about our favorite comics. But one of the reasons you might see some intense character design changes is just due to getting new technology or getting the ability to mess around with new stuff. Happening at the same time as the writers were getting what they had written in the first 5 issues. And so they started playing around. Hulk became green, and they changed his name from Bob to Bruce.
They moved his nose, too. Like, if you, like, look at, like you said, the stylization of the artist, right? But I think if someone does something in a particular style, like, you know, like what you have on there, it's like OG stuff, and you know, it just looks like it's a bigger face, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at stuff like from was it Planet Hulk or World War Hulk, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or even like any of the pictures that Dale Keelan did, his nose moved up. He's got a real small nose, dinky nose now.
Yeah.
To make room for like this, like the lip right here, like right underneath the your nose and whatnot. That's huge on him now.
Yeah.
I mean, like somebody drew it that way, and then all of a sudden, several artists behind it adopted that particular profile for the Hulk.
Yeah. I've been told that I need to read Immortal Hulk, one of the newest side runs, because I'm told that it will make grown men cry. But I saw some panels from that, and Hulk's nose looks extra small. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I have some older Hulk issues, like where he had like it was the when Bruce Banner and Hulk kind of merged together, and Hulk was smart.
Yeah. Dr. Hulk was also one of my favorite things to just give. I believe after the MCU is when they started giving him glasses more frequently than they did Dr. Hulk.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those weird things where, speaking of costume designs, they redesigning Hulk and then also Tony Stark to better match the MCU after the success of the MCU.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget, since we're on Hulk, let's not forget the stylized version that Todd McFarlane put in.
Oh yeah,
big brow, big head, big forehead, squared off. Really made him hulking.
Yeah,
yeah.
Huge. And then you had switch over, and eventually you had like the Gary Frank Hulk, a little more anatomically correct and all this, but still pretty solid Hulk.
Vic's trying to influence the bingo card. The bingo card must happen organically. We already got conversation on the X-Men from Jose and myself, and we got David mentioning an issue that he's colored, so you should have 2 spots already, in addition to every spot.
And we mentioned 80s and 90s X-Men.
We did, we mentioned pouches.
Yep.
So at some point it comes on, you'll add that to the bingo card. Yes. All right. But what was I going to say here? A lot of interesting changes that I feel like happened. You can see in the longest running characters because they have been around through the most changes in technology as well as how styles have evolved. It's like I see it in sports more so than we see comics is very present, but there's an actual study of it in sports where the reason why world records are constantly going to get broken is because the next generation is being trained by the people who broke the record at that time. So we're constantly, and just due to human elasticity, we're always training and getting better and better and better. The evolution in motion, we're the X-Men. But same comics, I feel like they're like a really interesting example of that, in that we've gotten more and more detail from Golden Age to now, just not only due to the limitations of printing changing, but also due to the best artists of one time, then training kids to become the best artists of their time, training kids to be the best artists of their time. So I think it's really interesting to see how we go from the literal Gray Man Hulk to where we are now.
I think, like if you notice, I feel that I need to gather my words. Give me a minute. But like in regards to like the older style of art, I mean, a lot of that, almost all of that was done by hand, right? You get traditional pencils, traditional inks, and you could only ink so fine a line, or pencil so fine a line, unless you're like Bernie Wrightson. But then you get just the change of mediums, right? So now you get pencils that there's the lead is thinner, so you can do more finite detail, or you're doing it digitally, so you're allowed to you increase the size you're working on and create more detail in that art. So like that, what you're working on, you can change the size of it now. You know what I mean? As opposed to what you got when you had, like back in the day, when you get someone pencils and like traditional pencils and have them ink it in. That's my opinion.
Right. I mean, yeah, because it went from the time where you had your essentially your canvas set up on the board or on your lap or whatever, and what you draw was what you got. You couldn't do, and not a whole lot of magic be done with it. Now your ability to go into Illustrator, crank up the DPI, and ink down to a micron.
I mean, that's what I do. I mean, not in Illustrator, but I increase the DPI to at least 600 DPI when I ink.
Right. That's where I have a button I can just do this to switch around images.
Good gravy.
Yeah, there's some Immortal Hulk now, but yeah, this as Jose mentioned, the very tiny nose.
Right.
But speaking of gym goals, just getting down into the vascularity and showing up.
Man, there was a kid in my art school. I think he's the year below me. His name's Bobby, and he likes to draw. He loves wrestling, so he likes to draw like big, muscular dudes. And I'm not gonna lie, I was impressed of the vascularity that he puts into the arms that he does. Like, that's not even something I think of because I don't have veins that pop out, so it's not necessarily in my brain to think, oh yeah, that should be popping out right there.
There you go. Gym goals versus third space, on the bingo card.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, I would like to do like a quasi throwback style comic, but just throwing back to like the memes of older styles or to like art tropes and doing one where the art style is 90% pouches and the other 10% is just veins on pencils.
That was Sam Keith, the guy who did Max. That'd be Max drawing.
That's Max, yeah.
And he did the Batman Confidential stuff too, right?
He did.
Okay. Kind of mentioned some other stuff. So there's also moments where the change in design may come from an editorial side of things where you want to change the tone of a character or the tone of a comic. And where am I looking? Here you go. And you might get something like this.
Oh Lord, I remember that too.
The shoulder pads are a choice, but you're like, okay, what if there's Daredevil who just was even more violent? Like, well, he'd wear black because obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
We want him to have armor because like he can't see it. He can't see what armor he's wearing.
Yeah.
But
don't forget his first incarnation in the yellow.
Oh yeah.
Suit.
Okay, that is also a point to where redesigns are sometimes a good thing. Dropping the yellow,
right? Like, we're deciding we're gonna do just red. It's like good change.
Yeah.
Like, I like that, especially when was it the storyline that Lee Weeks did where he's like racing like I think it's a heart transplant heart to a hospital in the snow. You know what I mean? So like when they colored that, the contrast of his red against the white of the entire city, like during a freaking blizzard. You know what I mean? It's just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He did that in Daredevil?
Yeah.
Huh, because I remember there was an animated episode where Flash was having to, or Impulse, was it Flash or Impulse, was having to deliver a heart. It was in a styrofoam container. Oh, and he was going through a blizzard. Same thing.
Same principle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the the hand Punisher. Well, I guess he kind of.
I don't know if we could be friends anymore, Vic.
You've seen
the Ani design. I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm sorry. I'm with Jose on this one. Maybe it's just I've known him too long. And
I will say that Frank Castle's Cosmic Ghost Rider design has worn on me a little bit. Like I think it's funny.
Trying to find the.
I don't know. I always think back to classic Punisher, and I always keep thinking of the Mike Zack painted cover.
Yeah,
the
with the black shirt, and you know what I mean.
Exactly.
I'm trying to find. They only have. He does have some bad covers with the Oni Skull, but there's been some really cool frames with it since. I'm trying to see if someone has legally and respectfully ripped one of those and put it online for us to share. There's one moment where he's just sitting there, like just covered in blood with a bunch of dead hand around him, and it looks so good. Yeah, but yeah, I will say some of the covers since he's took over the hand have been a little weird, but for the most part, the actual art inside the panels has been fantastic.
Yeah.
My favorite Punisher is actually Noir Punisher.
So which one?
Punisher Noir.
Why does that one not sound familiar to me?
Not me either.
This is the one where they set it in the 1950s instead.
Interesting.
So he's just come back from World War II, essentially.
I've never seen that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that either. So you're one up on me for that one.
Right?
I mean, my wife loves a lot of the period piece, so she loves like the Batman Gotham by Gaslight.
Oh yeah.
Those type. So this is kind of similar in that type of vein where you're dealing with something that's kind of out of the contextual norm.
Right.
So a unique take on it. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, this is like, it was one of those things where it was so different, but very much in the same theme. That
Right. Well, that means his arsenal is different, right? He doesn't have a modernized arsenal. So
no, yeah, he's mostly using like Kimber 1911s and a Browning automatic rifle.
Nice.
Yeah.
My wife has a 1911.
Nice.
It's got. You would never want to get shot by it. It's got paintings of Powerpuff Girls on it.
Oh yeah, you're telling me about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about some good? Oh, I guess another bad design that came from an editor before we go on to some good stuff. Perhaps, sometimes trying to modernize a character is something you just shouldn't do.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Wonder Woman has had quite a few design revisions that were kind of questionable.
Yeah,
that's a prime example of it right there.
Yeah, they're really into. I have a good spy transition here, but they're like.
It reminds me of like the classic Avengers, not the comic book Avengers, but the British TV show Avengers.
Yeah, so they had an idea where they were super into British spy TV from the 60s and 70s. Like, we need to make Wonder Woman like an at-home spy.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
It's the same with when she basically gave her lasso back to Hephaestus, and Hephaestus gave her 2 gold guns.
Right.
I think she was going into Hades or something like that, something to that effect. She was chasing after someone.
Yeah, the model of Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's. I mean, now I feel like if you did this, but with the same tone as maybe the Visions or something like that, you can maybe pull it off. But just trying to carry on the main line with the same identity, yeah.
Or were they thinking?
That being said, though, we could easily workshop something that could justify a costume redesign similar to this, but probably make a whole lot. But would be more interesting to fans is if we did a. I can't remember what was the show that did it, but they sent you 2 law enforcement officers who work together hated each other, and then they did a cut to season where season started off with them living together as a married couple, and everyone was like, "What's happening?" But they're actually undercover, spying on someone. But if we did like a thing where have a run where her and Bruce or something are just butting heads constantly, then cut to them being undercover, living next to Lex Luthor as a married couple or something like that. Yeah.
It's gonna have that Odd Couple feel, right? The Odd
Exactly.
Couple, yeah. Odd Couple overtone like music in the background.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and just have the weird moment where they're, the moments where they're trying to give the illusion that they are more intimate than they really are, and just cuts to the inside, and she's counting out Bruce doing push-ups or something.
Right.
But we do have, in a similar vein, a spy redesign that came from a change of direction that was actually very well done. Which is old Black Widow to new Black Widow. Yeah.
Yeah, the old one in her first appearance, and she had a some kind of a fuzzy hat, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was very much just stereotypical Russian spy woman. Yeah.
Yeah, good change. Good change.
Definitely a good change.
Yeah. And it's kind of a dumb idea of like a writer wanted to write a spy story in Marvel, and they said, "Hey, we could rehabilitate this weird villain." So they, I can't remember who did the art, but they did a fantastic job.
Right?
Yeah.
That one isn't. I want to say that's from like the one where Greg Horn did the cover. The second, the right image.
Right.
Which I'm not for sure. I'm pretty sure that's from that. I recognize the cover. I feel I recognize the cover. But it's not the one that was based that that Black Widow, the Black Widow movie was based off of. That was a different one. Right? Didn't Bradstreet do the cover for those? I'm not sure. I might be getting them confused. But yeah, that is definitely a better change.
Yes.
Another one I like that they did a rework on. I may be the only one, but the original Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Going from the original Captain Marvel with red and blue with a star, going to the black outfit with the long blonde hair and the big
and the lightning bolt or whatever.
Yeah, I like that redesign. I thought that one worked pretty well. Plus, it was also in the era of I love Jim Lee's version where he's fighting Rogue, or she's fighting.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So there's some good. I like that design. I think that was done pretty well as well.
I've liked most of the designs for most, not all. I like most of the designs for Carol. But yeah, the arc with Rogue.
Binary? You liked Binary?
I don't know.
Was it the red and orange one?
Oh no, not that one. Like I said most, not all. Yeah.
I have a Binary I colored from back in the day too, with the red and the lightning and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not loading. No, okay. Wasn't loading. It wasn't loading in high enough definition. But yeah, I feel like. Well, I also feel like Carol gets a redesign like every other year, but I think that's more so just as a character. There's very loose on the design scheme for her. Just make sure the jacket's in season and.
I think they're sticking with. They would stick with the one that like people see in the MCU.
They're sticking with that one now,
because
but
then that Yeah, that
Yeah.
means people can relate that to what they see on the screen,
Yeah.
and ideally that would translate
Yeah.
to more readers.
Yeah, they're sticking with the general design, but the hair, if they're keeping the same uniform, then the hair has changed sizes repeatedly.
Yeah.
Or if they keep the hair the same, then they'll they have like 3 different schemes on the jacket that they'll bounce between depending on if she's in Guardians, if she's in Captain Marvel, or if she's in Saber.
Right. I feel we've said a lot about Marvel characters. Does DC not change their characters costumes?
Well, we do have one here, which I think is a rather dramatic and a good rehabilitation of a villain to mostly villain, sometimes anti-villain.
Can you bring this one? Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, I didn't understand the magician-looking design of him.
I think it's supposed to be like
that's Deadshot. Really? That's
right. Yeah. I think maybe if I inspired by the idea of like magicians doing the bolt catch trick, but they certainly didn't run with that. If that's supposed to be the idea,
you're right. Yeah, we're gonna have to change that.
David,
that is not working out.
And you have one from David here as well. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there's the binary.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, binary.
Classic binary. I think that was from X-Men Unlimited 4, I believe. But, yeah. Yep. Fun with that.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I am a fan of characters with big hands. Maybe that's a Battle Chasers fan in me, but that's like the one part of the costume that I'm like.
Is it the Dolly, the big gloved hand look?
Yeah.
See, I love the some of the little more twisted ones, like the Simon Bisley Lobos. Like I love
with the arms.
I love the Lobo's back one where Lobo gets changed into a female, but is like half of his body is still a man.
From the waist down, he's female. From the waist up, he's still like this hulking man.
He's got one female arm and one male arm.
Like, man, I feel that when they DC and Marvel did their amalgam universe like merge, and they had you guys remember Lobo Duck?
Yes.
That's the design they stemmed from, because they gave him like one small little arm and then one giant freaking arm.
Probably.
And they had, was it Impossible Dog?
Yes. I gotta say, looking up gender swap Lobo gets you some weird results.
Look up. I think
you might want to clean your history out when you're done.
See if it's Lobo's back number 2. Should be the cover to Lobo's back number 2.
Oh yeah. Can't. Well, I mean, I think we can show. It's
Can
art.
you crop this to top?
Yeah. It's art. We can show art, right? But also, you get some results for Lobo's daughter, which I think is also just a dope-looking character.
I wasn't sure I was going to like her, but I think she's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
It's like half and half.
It's, yeah.
Was it the 90s? You can get away with whatever you wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Let's look up.
Bringing up Lobo's daughter.
Oh, good, yeah.
I thought that's what you were bringing up.
Yeah, well, I don't know if she's had like a proper redesign, but because she's still so fairly new. But
so he was always the last Zarnian? So does that mean is she like the last half Zarnian?
She's half, yeah.
He's just gonna have to take her out.
Well, they do have a really interesting best story design. Yeah, you cat and mouse. I mean, yeah. I mean, Silverline's in an interesting place because some of the old designs were done before we've had, modern technology and modern design philosophies.
Well, that's what's interesting because the stuff I'm coloring is prior to Champion's redesign.
Oh wow!
I'm getting older versions of that. So,
that's what we need to do, Tim. We need to talk Roland into writing a Champion, like a flashback Champion where he's like, the Spider-Man Noir or Punisher Noir. We need Champion Noir.
Champion Noir, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's Lobo's daughter. I'm trying to find my favorite glove here.
Don't put up the new Lobo. If you put up that new 52 Lobo, we might have to have words.
No.
All right, I gotta go look up the 52 Lobo now.
Oh, don't hurt yourself.
Like I said, that was kind of right stopped right around there. I mean, I jumped back in for Blackest Night era and then kind of, stepped back out again. So I just barely missed the 52. So the new 52 runs.
It's horrendous.
Do that, Omar.
Cable?
Yes. So we have our classic Cable here, right? Nothing but pouches and biceps. The
Iowa.
Yeah, the Choi X-Force, the one that was done during like Sex and Violence and during Messiah Complex, Messiah War. That era of Cable and Wolverine, I thought was just so good. Yeah,
I agree with that.
X-Strength also fantastic. Domino had some weird proportions at times, but I mean, what are you gonna do?
Right.
But yeah, that's one of my favorite eras of design philosophy for the X-Men. I think was right around then. I guess I get into how characters evolve over time here. With well, before we do that, we have been talking about Marvel a lot. Let's head back over to DC for a second. I guess I'll probably briefly mention the reason why indies don't necessarily have as many design changes, because usually it is a writer and artist, they do something, they complete their story, and they move on to the next project. It's rare that you have something that goes on for so long that you are warranted with the design change.
That's fair.
That spawned indie, which I guess thankfully it is. But heading back over to DC, one of my favorite takes, Asbat.
Oh, yep.
Nightfall Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when Bane broke Batman's back and specifically just didn't want to kill him, wanted to live and see the destruction and whatnot he caused. And Batman's like, yeah, that's real. But,
Yes.
Yeah, but
we're not going to have too many pouches, but here we are with claws.
Yes.
Yeah, but Azrael was brand new. It's like fairly new at the time, so it's kind of an odd choice to pull in.
Well, so Azrael had been around for a while, right? Since the early 90s. So I remember him being in the DC's Who's Who book.
Okay.
But having him come in as to cover for Batman, he's like, I don't know why he would ever pick him. Although I do like the current design for Azrael. I think friggin' the current design is amazing. But yeah, that one hurt me. I would say the best quote unquote Asbat design was the one from Mightfall, right? There's a whole parody where it's not Batman that got his back broke. It was Batmite in Batmite's universe. Yes.
Yeah.
The Sword of Dumas.
Now, let's see if we have. Oh, we do have a little bit of classic Azrael here as well. Well, maybe that's like 240p.
But I mean,
The new des-
Batman
that's the
does
new-
like get his villains to help him out all the time, right? Didn't he get Lady
Yeah.
Shiva to teach him? Please teach me how to beat you.
right. Oh, that was it?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one that Azrael I like right there.
Yeah. He is also the best DC character of the question. I do feel like that there's a weird trend in Batman comics where if there's a villainess, she will eventually become rehabilitated.
Right.
That's pretty much that's Marvel DC philosophy across the board. I mean, you've got your Catwoman, you've got your to a degree
Harley.
your you've got your Harleys, but you also got your to a degree your Black Cat. You've got that. I mean, remember, Scarlet Witch was one of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants to start with. So, speaking about design changes and independence, this is probably going to put another notch in Vic's bingo card. I'm going to go back to Grendel here.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
this is not like within the same person, you didn't see variation. So Hunter Rose is Hunter Rose. Grendel was always
right, but Grendel Prime.
Prime, Epi Thatcher's Grendel with the hood and the like mummy wraps and stuff. I really really enjoyed those redesigns. So they had some really cool stuff that they did across that series. So I just wanted to,
definitely,
bring
Grendel's
that up.
definitely a good.
Grendel's is also really fun.
What is?
Grendel.
Yeah,
I loved it.
there you go. That's Grendel, like was it New Odyssey or something like that? That's where he is carrying the what is it, the DNA or whatever of his people. He's trying to find a suitable planet to put them on.
Yeah.
See if you can find the Epi Thatcher version of Grendel.
Let's see there. Where's my search bar?
And I mean that to me, I love the Hunter Rose version.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Where's the high? That looks high res. Nope.
I had a friend that I did a couple commissions for, and he is, what's the male version of a seamstress?
A seamster?
Seamster? I don't know, something like that. He actually did Hunter Rose Grendel, like 11 by 17 bag, so I can carry pages in it.
Yeah, there you go. That's I love the just the simple things, kind of cross them over in a bit to like add some Moon Knight elements into it and go with it. So yep. Love some of the designs that they did with it.
That's good. Another character that has multiple variations over the time, generally progressing well.
A tailor. That's what he's.
Yeah.
A tailor.
A seamsman.
Notice the picture does not have nose Iron Man.
Right. Yeah.
Nose Iron Man?
Yeah, there was a season where Iron Man's mask had a nose on it.
Yeah. You should definitely text your friend and be like, "You're a seamsman, right?"
You're a And you want him to still be his friend, right?
I know, right? Man, it's a good thing he lives in Australia. Otherwise, he might come have words with me.
Also, we do have Nose Iron Man with what is maybe one of the best lines of dialogue ever put in a comic. So Iron Man, there's Iron Man's nose, for one.
Maybe I do, Shadowhead. Maybe I do.
You sure that's not like Dick York from My Dream of Jeannie or something like that?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, back in the day, that was some terminology for straight talk. So,
Yeah.
but sometimes comics age like milk.
They just curdle? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I have to admit, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of unique things, but I think there's a lot of pressure on artists to come up with stuff, and it's really hard when you're dealing with decades of all different kinds of designs.
Oh yeah.
And you kind of want to make it your own.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of the things you're like, what? Like, the character of the big wheel. You remember that one? But then you have here's another redesign we haven't talked about. Green Goblin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been quite a few different things to go. I mean, you can stop within Green Goblin, but then you can also expand out into Hobgoblin and all that. They're different characters, but the similar concepts. But just Green Goblin himself going from
right. Well, even Hobgoblin would like that dude basically found a stash of Norman Osborn stuff. It just took it and made his own.
Yeah.
So he basically was just the same thing, just repainted. But yeah. Man.
His big thing was more the hood and cape.
Yeah.
So, but now you've got the new books of Red Goblin and Gold Goblin. So
yeah.
Yeah, I actually liked Hobgoblin during, I think it was Monster Island, I think, where he was kind of like, I don't know. To me, he was very much like Azrael. He had a flaming sword too.
Right.
I like the Inferno stuff where he actually became a demon.
Like Demi-Goblin?
Yeah.
Well, Demi-Goblin was the one with the extra arms.
No, yeah, no,
Right?
it wasn't the Demi-Goblin. It was the demonic one where he had the big tongue and the big glowing red eyes and all that. During the Madeline Pryor Inferno series.
Right. Doppelganger. Doppelganger had the multiple arms. He was the multiple arm Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, the Doppelganger was. Yep.
Oh, here we go. Trying to find one big, but they're not very high res. But Robo Donnie.
Turtles have definitely come quite a bit of change on their styles over the years.
Yeah.
Was it? I didn't know that. So to me, when I used to watch the Turtle Show, and then I read the comic where they went into space and became wrestlers in space. I didn't know that there was a grittier, darker version of Turtles before that, right? So I mean, that right there is just a change. Like even April O'Neil, you know what I mean? She was like curly-headed, almost Puerto Rican-esque in the 90s as well, kind of look, you know what I mean, is evolved to like was it a brown-haired girl with the jumpsuit, and then the redheaded little girl from the Nickelodeon version. I think it's a Nickelodeon version. You know what I mean? And then now the newer one coming out is an
Right.
entirely different change. So, but
Actually,
yeah, I didn't know that turtles were like, and they all had the same bandana. They didn't all have different colors. That was all because of the TV show.
I did
They
do
were
that.
all originally black and white.
Yeah,
Yeah. I just remember that there are some characters who do have some redesigns. Almost chapter to chapter. Let me try to find one that is in the indies. Let's try to find one that won't put us off air.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I think Roland would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Although Vic's probably there going, bring it.
Right. What I think is really interesting is the fact that they have these really some very provocative covers, and then in the contents of the book, they start strict commentary to the idea. Is like, comics really do provocative covers for no reasons.
that sells.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
The reason is they sell. Yeah.
There you go.
Just like there are particular like indie companies that Hack and Slash.
Hack and Slash. Yeah.
That's a great book.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that Tiny Howard started writing on as well, but I've been following Tim Seeley for a while, so like the first volume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, is this an OG cover? So this is one of the newer runs. Here's an OG. So a little bit of a glow up from this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a little bit of a glow up. But again, this one of those weird things where if an independent series is going to run for so long, it's usually just the writer has an insane brainworm they need to get out, and they do so by writing 400 issues.
I feel we're talking about you on that one, Tim.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, it was Pouches and Biceps is going to be a 500
That's right.
issue mega epic.
That's going to be the name of the book.
Yeah.
Pouches and Biceps.
Pouches and Biceps by Tim TK. Yes, there we go.
I think also what could be kind of interesting to note is that not all redesigns need to be absolutely insane to be impactful. Because I think if you do a redesign and justify it with good writing at the same time as just making it a striking difference, it lands. Because I think this is probably the most important redesign in comics history.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I wonder if the idea of Venom was already conceived when Secret Wars 8 came out.
Right. I almost don't want to. I almost don't think so. Like, I feel like Venom might have come afterwards, but I feel like just the way it was handled, it seemed like they were like, "We're Spider-Man's in a black suit now."
Right.
Yeah. But just the way that the writing team later picked that up and then later ran with Venom, the just stark difference that from previous design to new design and the way it was, delivered and handled. I feel like, overall it's a simple costume, but it's when I think of like costume redesigns or character designs, this is what I think of first and foremost.
I think it's funny because like the panel right after this, he's like, I wonder if I was influenced by Spider-Woman's costume.
Right.
Because at that time during Secret Wars, she had a black costume.
Yeah.
Was she was Julia Carpenter at the time, right? Still? She wasn't Jessica.
I believe that is correct.
Okay.
I don't know. I do remember, like, I believe that same issue, the Enchantress was drunk and talking talking to Thor, I believe, or somebody.
I think now, yeah, Julie Carpenter is now back in, but as Arachne.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, like parallel universes stuff, like you have to mention Across the Spider-Verse and all the different Spider versions, or even in the first one, was it Into the Spider-Verse?
Right.
I remember that costume.
Yeah, this is fairly modern still. What was that?
It's all about the Crystal Gale hairstyle that like stretches forever and blows in the wind.
Right, yeah.
It's in 2 different time zones.
Well, that's what we got to do. It's pouches, biceps, ridiculously long hair, and that's
right.
Although,
but not just on the women.
No, everyone's got
That's
it. Yeah.
Don't forget Scattershot.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Although the concept of his sword was cool, like the double blades.
Yeah.
I thought that was neat.
And I think they addressed him great in Deadpool too. I think.
Yeah. I think now in his current run, he's off in the middle of nowhere with Adam X doing like extreme space guy stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Okay.
I know there was a run where it was him and Richter for a minute.
Here we go. And here we go. Yeah, this is a huge go up. So the OG.
Yep.
And the modern.
I think the modern takes something away. I'm sorry. I never understood the headgear, but
I mean, the headgear I think is supposed to be like very loosely based off like fencing gear, like Japanese fencing gear.
Right.
But I mean, dropping the single shoulder pad and the cape, I think, is definitely a good choice.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that I don't feel that they mentioned anything about him having a power until like further on in the line of X-Force and whatnot, and he ends up stabbing himself with his sword, I believe.
Right.
And like pretty much electrocutes everyone around.
What about a redesign of Cannonball?
Oh yeah, Cannonball's also good.
He had that, farm boy, skinny runt guy
with that pilot hat.
And then he went to X-Force with the big hat and the
yeah.
So there's another.
I have the was it Amazing Spider-Man where X-Force makes an appearance. They fight Juggernaut, and so like he's just screaming across the panels and whatnot.
I think also like in terms of like a writing glow up, like Cannonball had like one of the best arcs for being a doofus to be like an actual like decent leader who knew what he was doing.
To an immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we get an OG Cannonball? Let's see, here is new.
You'll probably find one from the New Mutants trade paperback.
Yeah.
But he was definitely in need for a redesign from his early New Mutants days, that's for sure.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Yeah, New Mutants.
Yep. Is this... What if we just made the most white bread dude and then set him on fire?
He had super short hair too, right? He had like a buzz cut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
His
Yeah, I
original
liked
hair is
him.
like
Yeah.
about it.
And then they did the same thing and made him Hispanic and made him what is it? What was his character? Sunspot.
Sunspot.
Yeah.
So it was very similar. Roberto
DaCosta, right? Roberto DaCosta.
Yeah. Yeah. There.
Well, that still looks decent. I mean, go back
Yeah.
to the one where go back to the Rob Liefeld where he had the aviator hat.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
It's when he was with X-Force.
So definitely some interesting redesign over time.
There you go.
Yep, that's the one.
So I feel like I mentioned him already a couple times, but I feel like it's sometimes you can redesign a character by just not redesigning them at all, and instead just draw them better. So we have our
You just had to. You just had to, right?
there's our OG boy right there. His redesign is just being drawn better.
Right. Look, even Professor X is oh Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude still wears a ball cap.
Still wears a ball cap even in the most serious of moments. Don't forget, he's a fifth Summers brother, so he's still important to the canon.
Oh my gosh, why? I feel that when you found that out, him being a Summers brother, you were like, yes!
Exactly. Everything justified.
Right? My world makes sense now.
But yeah, I mean, it is like different. Like somewhere an editor made the decision, like, okay, we have a character who canonically is stronger than most other mutants, and by all rights should be an Omega level threat. But he looks so goofy that we can't use him. Let's put him in space.
Good gravy. You're hurting my eyeballs, Tim.
There you go. Let's hurt them even more. Yeah.
Oh man.
Look.
I mean, it's a good story, I guess.
So I liked Lex Luthor and when was it Ed McGuinness did Public Enemies, or did Batman Superman Public Enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a good one because in the end he ends up coming after him in like the green suit and whatnot. It was pretty awesome. Like the classic freaking Super Friends of Lex Luthor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we end tonight, the last one I've prepared. Again, sometimes it's the simplest redesign that does the most work and will stick around the longest.
Yep. And the most favorite to be.
Yeah.
You know, I know so many people, like from artists to fans to comic store or owners, were like, "Oh yeah, Mohawk Spawn, that's the art Spawn. Mohawk Storm, best Storm there is."
Oh yeah.
And so even when she went, they moved her to another X-Men team, and they redesigned her suit to have that white cross across her chest.
Mm-hmm.
Like she still rocked the Mohawk and whatnot. So it was a very, very much like old school Storm costume merged with the classic Mohawk look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Morlock Storm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I was actually going to mention her earlier. I'm glad you brought her up.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. But she's gone through quite a few costume changes, all roughly in the similar, like, you know, ring on the thing for the cape and whatnot. But
speaking about a redesign that was really funky, and it has to do with the Morlocks. I'm blanking on her name right now. The leader of the Morlocks at the time had the eye patch.
Callisto.
Remember at one point they redesigned her and she had something where she was actually extremely attractive. And
Yeah.
They redid that for that one story, and it was like, what?
Oh, and another one that I really liked that I wish they didn't redesign her because it took away from the premise of her personality, right? Marrow from X-Men. She was one of the it was in her backstory that she was one of the little children that survived the Mutant Massacre. And so she has all these bone spikes and knives that pop out and like bone plating on her head and like everything. I loved that design because it gave her, it gave her purpose of why she had an attitude, right? And then all of a sudden, when during was it Weapon H or Weapon X, she joined the Canadian thing. They made her pretty and took away all her bone spikes. I was like, oh, that's upsetting. She looks like freaking what's her name? Lena Headey, the chick from
oh yeah, the Game of Thrones, yeah. But don't worry, we come back.
You also had the other one we didn't touch upon, which was the whole Betsy Braddock.
Oh yeah,
Quinnon switch over, Psylocke. So they had some interesting things that they did with that as well.
There's actually like one of my favorite things recently is Betsy Braddock Captain Britain. But yeah, let's see.
Oh yeah, when she went from she was British looking and then all of a sudden she was Asian.
Well, well, it's always been. She's in her entire family is supposed to be half Japanese, but she's the only one who apparently got the Japanese half.
Well, it was a Mojo's, I think it was Spiral that went and kind of interweaved the two people together, Quinnon and swapped the personalities. Yeah, that's the new Captain Britain series.
I actually like that design.
Yeah,
like for whatever. That's when was it? That's when she went into whatever universe, like was it Saturn Nine's in? Yeah. And that was cool because Jubilee's son becomes the dragon.
Yes.
That was so good.
Oh, here's actually a good one. Open inventory tab. Oop. I got both designs there.
Yeah.
Have a good one, Vic. We're about to wrap up here anyway.
Yeah.
She's actually one of my favorite characters, and it's a shame that they didn't give Olivia Munn any lines as her in Age of Apocalypse.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the stuff that I really like some of the stuff that Chris Bacalo did with her designs, with Psylocke's designs. So yeah. I guess we should probably wind this down or we'll be on for the next hour.
Right.
Everybody's having so much fun here.
Yeah.
And I'll have you know I got my package, so I have my Silverline band now.
Nice.
I'm questioning whether I should put the band on the Wampa here.
Nice.
With his detachable arm. Velcroed on arm.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Let's see where they put them. But yeah, Roland also sent me a package that included a bunch of MANTICORE comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was his brown nosing will get you everywhere, kids. And I mentioned that I was a huge Baltic fan when I was in his class, and that's how we got connected because he wrote the Baltic comic. So got a bunch of
I got Beyond the Stars that I helped I inked the cover in, and I actually got the proof for Obsoletes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
teased me with it at the convention in Tampa. It was like, hey, like I'm gonna give this to you at the end of the show. I was like, all right, awesome. And then it was just like, remember when I said I was going to give this to you? I can't. I was like, gosh dang it. You're playing with my emotions, Roland.
Yeah, he sent me some random Silverline stuff. So the first, what is it? The first Beyond the Stars. He sent me a Steam Patriots. About 5 or 6 books along with these bands. So appreciate it.
That one, I did the inks on that over Rob Davis.
Okay.
Nice.
That's the package I got. I got that package in while I was in Indiana for family vacation.
Nice. I think he sent them all out about the same time, probably.
Probably. Yeah. Okay. Well, it has been That Silverline Show on Tuesday. We have been your hosts. We'll be back next week with a subject that I have yet to put into the calendar, so I'll do that probably tomorrow. But yeah, make sure to come back at 8 p.m. Eastern for Wednesday Wham and Silver Sunday. We'll be back next week. And until that time, make mine Silverline.
Make mine Silverline.
Oh, where to go?
Hi, I'm Bill Black. I created FemForce. But you know what? Today, make mine Silverline.